Hi, QB. Today I'm going to be sharing a case study of mine on an app called Proximity that I built to help college students discover free local activities. So let me walk through how it came together. This was a 20-week college project at the University of Washington where I was able to choose any prompt of my choice, and I had three other team members. All of us were kind of design generalists, but I did focus more on UX design and product design. So finding free events should not feel like a part-time job, but honestly, it does. Students have to check multiple apps, scroll endlessly, and sometimes hit paywalls just to see basic information. So the question became, how might we help UW students on a budget decide whether to attend free in-person events without all that effort? So before jumping into solutions, I wanted to kind of understand what was already out there. So I looked at apps like Meetup, Nudge, Bumble BFF, and two things stood out. First, many features were locked behind paywalls, and second, most platforms rely on heavy active search. You have to go looking for events instead of them being surfaced to you. That made me wonder, is the issue really about availability or is it about effort? So to answer that, I moved into more research through interviews, and we interviewed five participants. Three patterns showed up really quickly. 80% of users wanted events aligned with their interests. 60% of users struggled with unclear logistics, and 80% of people said that they didn't have energy to actively hunt for activities, even if they wanted to go. So that last insight really shifted the framing, and the problem became reducing friction and mental load for more event discovery. So instead of designing for features, I started designing for their energy. To make this actionable, I created personas based on energy levels. So Sarah is a low energy user and she's overwhelmed, she's busy, and she's budget conscious. So designing with this persona in mind made that the product couldn't assume motivation and it had to support different states. Now that I understood our users, the next question was what kind of a product would actually solve this? So we explored a lot of different directions, even including wearables and gadgets, and we scored each idea against criteria like affordability, user effort, clarity, and scalability. And our mobile app scored the highest because it created the lowest friction for entry. So we chose feasibility and user energy over novelty. And from there, our design decision became very clear. So the biggest shift was building for passive discovery instead of active search. And we achieved this through a map-based homepage that creates an ambient awareness of nearby events. We also included features like filters to give users control without overwhelming them, notifications for surfacing events proactively, and verified uploading to maintain trust in the system, especially since these are college students and we want to ensure their safety too. So we had a lot of different phases. We did concept testing, we built our information architecture, we had usability testing, our mid-five frames and everything. And this is where testing really shaped the product. Users didn't recognize certain buttons and they wanted to plan ahead, not just see specific events happening within the week or the day, and some of the upload flows were confusing. So we simplified a lot of things. We removed horizontal scrolling, we added visible search and date filters, we standardized navigation across screens. And the biggest gain from removing friction was removing friction, not adding more features. So once those improvements were in place, the experience started to feel really cohesive. And we'll move on to our final design now, where I will show you how it works end to end. On our home screen, users immediately see nearby events on a map, no search required. And clicking into event shows all logistics in one place, time, location, RSVP, organizer detail. We also have a search page to support users who don't want to use the map feature. And it uses keywords and interest-based browsing for people who discover active discovery. And for our last flow, verified users can upload events, making it very community driven. So, of course, every product has its trade-offs. We did make some intentional decisions. So, our current trade-offs were like location sharing that improves our relevancy, but it creates privacy hesitation. Also, manually verifying maintains trust, but it's slow scaling a lot. And limiting to free events only keeps the scope tight, but restricts revenue options. So, if I were to continue this project, I would explore more things like behavioral personalization, making sure we could incorporate campus APIs to have more campus-related events for colleges, and an energy-based models to surface low-effort events for when the user's activity patterns suggest high fatigue. And honestly, I really enjoyed this project. I learned so much from it, and here are some of my key learnings. So, this project reinforced a lot. Some of it was focus beats feature creep. The best decisions were about what not to build and keeping our scope narrow and focused. Testing revealed a lot of friction, and it was so cool seeing how our users interacted with the product we were building. Clarity over complexity wins most of the time, and simpler flows outperformed a lot of feature-rich ones in most of our tests. And designing should always have reducing cognitive load in mind and respecting the user's mental energy. So thank you so much. That was all for my case study presentation. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch through this, and I hope to hear back from you soon.